Alright, hey everybody, it's Adam, and welcome to my first and probably only Medal of Honor Warfighter beta gameplay. I intended to get this up for you guys this weekend, but life got busy and got delayed a little bit. I find that whenever I have good intentions about putting out multiple videos at the same time, something always gets in the way, like exhaustion or one of the kids getting sick or something like that. So, and eventually, I'm going to learn to just do 3 or 4 or 5 videos the one day I actually have time to do them, and then I won't have this problem. But nonetheless, I digress in the first 10 seconds, so that's bad. Anyways. Medal of Honor Warfighter beta came out last Friday. I think it's very... I did it the right there. 1 minute in, I did an I think it's very charitable to call this a beta when the game is set to be released on October 23rd. That's just... that's just sort of it's I wouldn't call it a lie, but it's definitely stretching the limits of the widely recognized use of the term beta. I mean, there's absolutely nothing that they can do with the data they gather here that will affect the game at release beyond a day one patch, and you wouldn't necessarily expect there to be a lot of time to tune between now, as I said, October 10th and October 23rd. So at best, maybe a little bit of feedback will make it into a day one patch for the release. But I wouldn't expect a whole lot of it. I think mostly what you're seeing here is a server stress test, and maybe even a little bit of gauge of popularity here. So, I don't like it just on its face when companies do this, but I guess in the grand scheme of things, it really isn't very important. There's a couple quick cuts here because this match was like 14 minutes long, and I had no desire to talk about this game for that long. So that's why the gameplay is cutting around a little bit. But since I recorded this footage, I think this was day 2, I've probably had 4 or 5 different opinions of Medal of Honor Warfighter. I started off, I really don't like this game. Then I sort of figured out how to play it. Oh, I actually kind of really do like this game. This is fun and entertaining and a nice change from COD. No, then I came back to, I'm really not a fan of this. Then back again to, okay, this is not bad. I really like the sort of the Battlefield 3 engine and the new play style, and it's offering me something new. Yeah, I'm fully back on board with, I'm not a real big fan of this game. I think that... Let me start out by saying that I think any type of competition to the status quo is a good thing. It's a good thing in every genre of gaming. We should always want competition, right? Call of Duty hasn't had real competition in years, at least a direct competitor. Back when Call of Duty 4 came out, Medal of Honor was still a very popular series, at least on PC, and its original geez, I can't think of the word I want to say here. And it's in its first incarnation. That's the word I'm looking for. And there was a lot of other smaller games that came out that people played a lot of. First-person shooters were still mostly PC-based at the time. Battlefield 1942 was out. There was just a lot more option. Call of Duty 4 came out, as you guys know, and just completely dominated the console stratosphere, and that really hasn't changed. The first Medal of Honor was a disaster. Battlefield 2, Bad Company, and Battlefield 3 are good, but they're so wildly different a formula than the Call of Duty franchise that it's almost difficult to compare them directly. And even though they're wonderful games and they're polished and they're beautiful and they play well, I don't entirely think they're targeting the same market. The closest they've come, or DICE has come with Battlefield 3, is that close quarters combat expansion, and I only played a very little bit of it, and I really like what they did. I think that's the right way to go if you want to challenge the Call of Duty formula, the close quarters combat, infantry on infantry formula that Call of Duty has just completely dominated lately. So in a way, I almost think that this foray back into Medal of Honor is their way of expanding that, saying, okay, we're going to do a Battlefield game every 2 years, and we'll throw a Medal of Honor game in there every year, or even every 2 years to sort of fit a gap, and we can make that more infantry-oriented, more close quarters combat, differentiate the brand, and hopefully compete more with Call of Duty in that way. So, in theory, I like the concept, and I'm fairly sure that is the concept. In practice, I'm not so sure if it's working. You know, the Frostbite 2 engine, which is what's used in this game and in Battlefield, it's a very finicky engine. It's very particular. The way the models move is very quirky. The way the guns work is very quirky. The recoil is very particular. The hit detection is very, very, very average. On its best day, half as good as the worst Call of Duty. And I really hate the constant comparison. I'm sure you guys too, but it's true. You know, it really is. If you're going to measure the gold standard, and the gold standard in hit detection and quality is Call of Duty, no matter how many problems we have with it. And when you play a game like this, you can really see the disparity there, and how much more rough it is than you know, even in Modern Warfare 3, which has horrible hit detection and horrible lag compensation and everything. So, that being said, I want to talk a little bit about what I think this game does right. It's different. You know, again, I want to stress how important I think having competition is. And you can make a Call of Duty clone, and I'm surprised no one has tried to just pretty much copy it exactly. No one really has, and I'm not sure why. But having a game like this come out, which is different and unique and really has something to offer, the difference, support and offensive score streaks, the buddy system, you get points for everything your buddy does. It really encourages teamwork. This fire-based mode that you're watching me play right now is a very cool little game mode, something we haven't seen yet. These are all really good things, and I love the competition. I love the idea that this game could push Activision or another company to make their games better. You know, without the release of Homefront, without the release of Battlefield, without the release of the first Medal of Honor, we probably don't get Black Ops 2 the way it's coming out right now. Black Ops 2 looks to really innovate on the Call of Duty formula, and I haven't played it, but the way from the looks of it, from everything we've seen, it's a real departure from the formula, and it's a really good departure. They've really innovated, and I don't think you see any of that without the competition, without other companies really making an effort. So bravo to them for that. The weapon customization is pretty cool. Looks like there's going to be a lot of depth there with a lot of different weapons. The class system on its face is pretty cool. I mean, I like the concept of it. You know, you get a bunch of different options for different operators from different countries around the world, and then you have the 5 different classes, which all have different run speeds and health values, and you know, different weapons they can use and different support and score streaks. So again, good. Innovation is good. However, the bad. Just briefly here, look at the screen in front of me. The map is on the bottom left. I don't know that I've ever seen that in the last several years in a first-person shooter, and it's a horrible place for the map to be. You know, your vision tends to be drawn up onto the screen when you're playing a first-person shooter because that's where the gun is, and having the map down below completely takes you out of combat to look at it. The ammo indicator on the HUD is huge, probably 3 times bigger than it needs to be. It takes up a tremendous amount of space. The kill feed is located in an odd place that takes up way too much real estate on the screen. Up in that top right corner, it really takes a lot of your situational awareness with the kill feed, and it also scrolls very slowly, sometimes 2, 3, 4 kills behind. So just there on the face of it, the HUD is terrible. I don't like it. It doesn't work well. It's not particularly functional. Okay, the movement. It feels like Battlefield 3, but maybe even worse, which is not a good thing. It's clunky, it's slow, you feel like you're moving in molasses, and I don't have much good to say about it. The aiming is not precise, the guns don't feel good, the reticle, the recoil is all over the place. It takes way too many bullets to kill anybody. In a game like this, when you're trying to make a close quarters combat, fast-paced infantry game, you really can't let yourself fall into the trap of having it take 58 bullets to kill someone. It just doesn't lend itself well to this type of game. The support streaks, for the most part, are kind of ineffectual, so I think it kind of takes away some of the interest in getting them. The class system is really a complicated disaster. It's really difficult to figure out what the different classes do, what the different nationalities do. In practice, it really doesn't work well. And, you know, maybe the worst thing about this game is that it has one of the worst menu systems I've seen in any game. I cannot adequately describe to you how horrible it is. If you don't play the game yourself to try to find out, you won't know what I'm talking about. Load the game up for 5 minutes, try to navigate through the menus, and you will be horrified. It is the least user-friendly thing I think I've seen in any game, bar none, in probably the last 4 or 5 years. My honest recommendation right now, do not buy this game when it comes out on the 23rd. It's going to be very quickly forgotten when people play Halo on the 7th and then Black Ops 2 on the 13th. Save your money.